the last 24 hours has been a moment of just reflecting on where we are in our state, in our country, in this district, and just the transformation of power that is happening across the country. Looking at our presidential race and still waiting on the votes there, and knowing how much voting rights meant to Congressman John Lewis and me succeeding him in Congress at this moment when we are battling it out for every single vote here in Georgia to flip our state blue for the first time since 1992, before I was even able to vote. So, I mean, it's a big moment in Georgia right now, and we could be deciding the presidency right here. So Congressman Lewis was a very close personal friend and mentor. And so I had an opportunity to learn from him up close and personal. And while I know that no one can ever fill the shoes of Congressman John Lewis, I look forward to building upon his legacy and charting my own path in Congress.
And how do you think being in that seat, you can, as the congresswoman, be a congresswoman who can serve both Democrats and Republicans in your district?
So I'm willing to work with anyone, but there are some people, even elected officials, who don't believe in my humanity as a person. And some people really don't think that a Black woman should be serving in bodies of power in this country. And so those are people who I'm not willing to compromise who I am, the values that I hold so dearly, to work with them. But I am willing to work with anyone who's willing to center my people and uplift those people that are living on the margins of our society.
What about your constituents in the district, whether they are Republicans or Democrats? What can they expect from you as the congresswoman elect?
One value that I view my decision making lens through is centering those most marginalized. And when we do that, we uplift everybody in our community. And so you don't have to wonder what I'm thinking or who I'm there to serve, because one thing that I learned from Mr. Lewis is never forget the people who sent you to Washington and who you're there to look out for. So I will always be in tune with that, recognizing that this seat doesn't belong to me. It belongs to the people, and they deserve to have a representative who's willing to fight out loud and on purpose for them, and I plan to do just that.
Yeah, and last question. I mean, what's next? I mean, the elections are over now, so what's next for you for the next, I guess, 2 months or so?
So I don't really get a big break because I got a memo and an update. New member orientation starts on November 12th. So I'm going to DC on November 11th to learn all of the rules of the United States Congress, what I can do, what I can't do, and we're moving forward and hitting the ground running.
Yeah, was there any like important lesson that you learned just from running this campaign in a district that's just very iconic in our state?
So I remember always watching Mr. Lewis. My husband worked on multiple cycles of his campaign, and one of the things that he said once, running in a primary, he knew he was going to win. Everybody knew Congressman Lewis was going to win his elections, but he never took anything for granted. If there was another person on the ballot, you best believe John Lewis was going to be out there campaigning. He was going to be knocking on doors himself. He was going to have a mail program. And people told me this in this election. They're like, Nikema, this is a Democratic seat. Why are you doing this? But I know that I should never take any vote for granted. And every voter in this district deserves me to reach out to them and ask for their vote and their support. And I did just that. And we won big on last night, an overwhelming mandate in this district to move forward with the agenda that we know upholds the legacy of John Lewis and the values that we hold true right here in the 5th Congressional District of equality and the promise of America for all of us, not just some.
Yeah, I would imagine that you being close to Congressman Lewis and knowing him personally, did you feel any sort of like pressure running for the seat, or did you feel like you were actually encouraged because of that?
So a little bit of both. I mean, this is a huge deal. And these are, I mean, following after John Lewis is no small feat. And I mean, and this is a big stage. This is a very historic seat steeped in history, and in a district that's very important to our region, the busiest airport in the world. And so I don't take it lightly that this opportunity has been presented to me. And so I look forward to doing everything in my power to make sure that I'm uplifting the voices of the people that I've been sent to Washington to represent.